Hello, my dears. Daniela here, and welcome to another episode of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. Now, this episode is a little bit different. We're trying something new here, but I think that you're really going to like it. So a little while back, I did a free training with my friend Ghada, who's the founder and CEO of My Skin Buddy, on how to sell more devices in your spa. Now, devices, for whatever reason, tend to be a little bit more challenging to sell than skincare. And I really, in this training, broke that down why and broke down the proper way to sell and display devices in your spa. Now, when we offered this webinar, you could register for it. You could attend live to participate in the Q&A. And now we're actually going to take that training, the recording of that training, and turn it into a podcast episode for you. Now, I love this format because it allows us to be more interactive with you. We can hear what you're thinking and saying and answer your questions, which is really one of my favorite parts of any trainings that I do, whether I'm speaking on stage or if I'm going into a spa or if I'm doing a webinar or whatever it is. The Q&A for me is so much fun because it just allows me to help on a different level. So you can definitely expect to see more episodes like this in the future where we're offering free, no pitch trainings purely to provide value to you, the esthetician, the spa owner. And if you're wanting to attend one of these trainings live, make sure that you are in the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group so that you can always know when the next opportunity is. And that group, if you're not in there already, okay, you need to go in there now. We have so much value in there. We do weekly marketing tips. We have our Esthetician Business Book Club. We do monthly goal setting and planning sessions. Plus, we're always in there to keep the conversation going on the topics that we're talking about on this podcast. So I hope that you enjoy this new kind of style of episode. Of course, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to pose to us in the Q&A, just head on over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group and tag us in the post. All right, let's go ahead and play that training. All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to today's training. As everyone is signing on, I want to go ahead. If you can type a 1 into the chat box, if you can see me and hear me, that would be incredible. I would hate to do a training where nobody. Oh, hey, Sarah. Yay, Sarah's here. Corey, perfect. All right. So you guys, and my other Sarah.
Aw, Brooke.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys are all here. Thank you so much for, oh, you only see Ghada. That's fine. It'll switch once we go to slides. So a couple of things to keep in mind when we do these webinars. This is a just high value training, zero pitch. We're just providing you with as much information as possible to help you move these devices. One thing to keep in mind, if you have any apps open like Google Drive, like Facebook, like Instagram, anything that's going to use a lot of bandwidth from like constantly refreshing, you'll want to turn those off in the background because that can cause us to freeze. If we freeze for any reason, just hit refresh and it should help it should kind of refresh everything. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my slides so we can get going. I do talk fast, and I've got a lot of information to share with you guys, but we will have a Q&A at the end. Ghada and I both are going to stay on till the very end and answer as long as we need to answer any questions that you guys have. So can everybody see my slides okay now? Just want to double check that. Can you just do one in the chat box one more time, or Ghada, if you can?
Yes.
You can see.
I
okay,
can
perfect.
See
perfect. All right, awesome. So how to sell devices without being salesy. That is like the name of the game, right? Nobody wants to be salesy. No one wants to be pushy, but selling devices can oftentimes be more of a challenge than selling products. And the reason that I say that is because I remember when Clarisonic first came out, like back in, well, I don't know if it's when it first came out, but when we first brought them on to our med spa in 2009, they were like collecting dust for a good month. And I was like, how do we move this thing? Like, what am I supposed to do with it? I was this esthetician and spa manager at the time. And I just did so much trial and error. And I found for me a solution that worked that got me selling anywhere between 1 to 3 Clarisonics a week, which was incredible because you get awesome commission, you have awesome profit margins, plus your clients are getting better results. And so essentially what I want to share with you guys today throughout this training is how, my process, what I've learned over the past 13 years in this industry for selling devices. So we are going to do a full Q&A at the end. So if you guys have any questions, you can either type them into the chat. Ghada will kind of be paying attention to the chat there, but we will have like full time for Q&A at the end. So what you guys are going to cover, what we're going to cover today is creating beautiful displays, super important. Educating your clients on the device benefits. So how to talk to them about these benefits, again, without feeling salesy. And then showcasing your client's success with the My Skin Buddy. And we're going to talk specifically on social media, like how you incorporate and market these devices on social media. So my name's Daniela. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm the host of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. And I've had the incredible honor of training thousands of estheticians in 82 countries around the world, specifically on business building. And then we have the lovely Ghada, who I'm sure you guys all know. She's the CEO of My Skin Buddy. She is a just travel maniac, going to all of these shows all across the country. And just an incredible, incredible woman and good friend of mine. So before we get into those 3 primary topics, I want to talk about profit and retail because we all love what we do, right? We are very passionate about what we do. But at the end of the day, we are doing this so that we can put food on the table, right? That's a super important. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. And using retail and devices is a great way to boost your bottom line. So why does retail matter? I love these stats. I talk about these stats a lot. So according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, aesthetics is projected to grow 14% faster than average between 2016 and 2026. And according to iSpa, if a customer purchased 2 or more products from you, they have an 80% rate of return. According to MedAesthetics, more than 80% of skincare clients who leave a medical facility without buying a product for home use will purchase at least one skincare product from a drugstore or department store within 24 hours. So for me, retail, if you're not retailing, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And it's not just from profit that you make from products. It's all about client retention and building that deeper relationship with your client, building that know, like, and trust factor with you, because we all know, like, they can come and see you to get treatments, but if they're not doing proper home care, then they're not going to get the same results. And we don't want that. We want them to reach their skincare goals faster. When you incorporate devices like the My Skin Buddy into their home care regimen, they're going to have better results, right? It's going to boost their results, boost their benefits. They're going to be happier. That's going to mean that they're going to refer more people, come see you more frequently, all the good things. It's kind of like a snowball effect. So what that means for you, if you care about client retention, revenue per hour, one of my favorite metrics, overall profit, retail is an essential piece of your business. And by using the My Skin Buddy, I'm going to show you guys and devices in general, right? I love the My Skin Buddy. We're doing this training here specifically for that. But I want you to also think about retailing more than just skincare, right? Because every little bit that you retail can increase that revenue per hour. And it's all about, we think it's these big priced items and these things, but it's those little increments that we're increasing that revenue per hour that is going to make the big difference in the long run. So I wanted to show you just some healthy projections. This is just a Google Doc that we created. We share this with our students. You can create something exactly like this for free with Google Docs. You just have to have a Gmail account. And we use it to track our service, retail, gift card, online sales, all of these kind of things. So let's just say that you're doing $8,700 a month in service sales. If you're doing $8,700 a month in service sales, your retail should be about $4,500 a month. So when we're talking about retail to service percentage, I'm not going to get super into all of this, but if you guys have questions at the end, let me know. But in a day spa or as a solo esthetician, your retail to service percent should be 50%. So if we're looking at the day to day, this means that you would be doing anywhere between 300 to 500 per day in services, right? So when we break it down, I know sometimes if you see, 8,700 in a month, like how can I do that? That sounds like this huge number. But really all I'm asking is to do between 300 and 500 per day in service sales, and then doing approximately 150 to 200, 150 to 250 in retail sales. Okay. So not huge. And, you can see already, those of you that are thinking ahead, if you have My Skin Buddy that retails for, I believe it's $265, that's all, there's your retail to service 50% for a $500 day right there. So let's break this down a little bit further. So if you work 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, because we want to take a 2-week vacation to, rejuvenate ourselves, you did $300 a day on services, you would hit about $75,000 in revenue. And with those numbers, your retail should be at $150 per day on average, $750 per week, or $37,500 per year, which would, bring your total annual revenue to $112,500. So your approximate take-home pay would be $4,500 or $45,000 a year, or $3,750 a month if you're managing all of your metrics properly. So I hope that each of you are paying yourselves. That's another side note there. But if you're doing this is a great kind of measurable of what your take-home pay should be. Now, if you were to sell one My Skin Buddy per week, that would add an extra $13,250 in top line revenue to your spa, with $6,800 of that being pure profit. Now, that is a raise. Like, think about what you could do with that. You could go on a family vacation. You could start your business savings account. You could invest in a new modality. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with that boost of your bottom line. And that's not getting new clients in the door, right? That's going deeper with the existing clients that you have. So just imagine what that would mean for the overall quality of life. So as I was kind of mentioning, I am a big believer in going deep with your clients rather than going wide. So how can you really fulfill their needs on a deep level? You want to make sure that if there's someone coming to you for anti-aging, that you're offering anti-aging treatments, that you're offering anti-aging devices, that you're giving them all the advice that they need to reach their skincare goals, so they're not having to go to multiple places. And if you go into the marketing world, you will hear this stat over and over that it's 50% easier to sell to an existing client than it is to a new one. So as estheticians, the problem that I see happening quite a bit is everyone says, I need new clients, I need new clients, I need new clients, but they're not actually going deep with the existing clients that they have. Now, I also wanted to have a side note here because I think it's something that I've heard a lot of chatter about in the esthetician groups lately is everyone's worried about an impending recession and what do we do? How do we prepare for that? All of those kind of things. So I just wanted to add a side note here of the main thing that you need to do is have a business savings account. And that's why I was mentioning, hey, like if you don't want to work yourself to the bone, if you still want to have time to spend with your family, with your friends, have that work life blend, right? And not balance, but blend, then a way to increase your bottom line and increase your take home pay pretty dramatically without adding more hours is to increase your retail sales. And more specifically, if you're adding a device like the My Skin Buddy, you can, and you get to the point where you're selling 1 to 3 devices per week. That's a lot of extra money that you can put away into a business savings account. So happy to answer questions on that at the end as well, but just wanted to kind of plant that seed in your mind. All right. So let's get into the meat of the training today. So we're going to talk about creating beautiful displays. Now, Giada De Laurentiis, do you guys know who she is? I'm half Greek, half Italian. I love Giada De Laurentiis. She's one of my favorite celebrity chefs. And she says that you eat with your eyes first. And I think that that's one of the most true statements ever, because when we go into a spa, it's a completely different experience if you walk in and see this beautiful display rather than seeing, all the retail products kind of hidden away or locked behind a cabinet or whatever it is. We want to create that desire first of, wow, what's that? I want to look at that. I want to touch that. I want to feel that. Is that for me? So we've got to create that visually appealing display from the beginning. So there is a science to this. There is a method to the madness of creating visual displays. And there's actual visual merchandisers who that's their whole job, is to create a display that's visually appealing to us as human beings. And what those visual merchandisers have determined is that in a salon setting, you want to have 80% product, 20% shelf talkers. Okay. So SkinCeuticals is a brand that I've had the opportunity to work with, and they are masters at creating beautiful displays. SkinCeuticals is actually owned by L'Oreal, the largest beauty company in the world. And they've invested so much money, so much research into how people like to see displays. And so they're definitely someone to follow if you look at any of their flagship stores or anything like that when it comes to displays. And that is where I learned this 80-20 ratio. So they also put things in groupings of 3 or 5. So if you have, let's say you have a My Skin Buddy, right? You would want 3 of those to actually have in stock. Now, I know one of the great benefits of My Skin Buddy is that they do the drop shipping where you don't have to have them in your location. And I think that that's a great opportunity to really manage your cash flow, because a lot of people get a lot of money tied up in inventory that's sitting on the shelves. But if you're at a point in your career that you can manage to have 3 on hand at all times and then drop ship, any additional, I think it would be super, super beneficial to at least visually have those there in your location, because you will see people who they're in the moment. They're like really focused on their skincare goals right then. They want to make that purchase right then. They don't want to wait, right? So you don't want to lose out on that sale if you don't have to. Clarisonic is obviously a device, and they do a great job with their displays as well. Some things to keep in mind. You want to have one that can be a tester. I love that Clarisonic has this little video here, and I know Ghada has like a ton of resources. For anyone that has a My Skin Buddy account, she's got this Dropbox folder that just has tons of marketing materials and videos and all kinds of stuff. And even I think directly on the website, there's how to use My Skin Buddy. I think it would be incredible if you just had an iPad or some type of video screen that was playing how to use My Skin Buddy. and then have the device here, have the brochures, letting like My Skin Buddy and devices in general is something that people need to touch, see, and feel even more so than skincare products, because they have to understand, what is this thing? What is it doing for me? Is this something I can really commit to? Is this something that I will actually use? Which I'll talk about, one of the reasons that I personally love My Skin Buddy, and I actually got my entire team My Skin Buddy for Christmas because I loved it that much. But one of the reasons that I like them is because I am all about leveraging your time, right? Time for me is my most valuable resource. I have a toddler. I'm pregnant right now. It's like I don't have time to go through to use my Clarisonic and then to use my LED device and then to use my New Face or like whatever, all these different devices. My Skin Buddy it's like 4-in-1, right? So I can still get all of the benefits, but then I don't have to be worrying about, all right, well, let me use my Clarisonic for this and all these other devices. I think they're awesome. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. It's just, for me, I love leveraging time, and My Skin Buddy saves me time, and that makes me very happy. So keys to success for displays also that I want to talk about. Eye level is buy level. Okay. Let that phrase burn into your mind. So what I really would love for all of you to do is run a report to find out what your winners are. I don't want you to guess. I want to see the actual numbers of what products are moving the most. And I want those devices or products to be at eye level. So the further you go up on the wall or down on the wall, the further those will be on your list, right? So if you have a product that you're introducing, like if you're bringing on the My Skin Buddy and you're wanting to get a lot of, excitement and talk about it, when you're displaying it, it needs to be on that eye level shelf. That's going to be the place where it's going to do the best. Always, always, always have testers. I know that a lot of people are worried about items getting stolen, but I will tell you the increase in your sales by having testers, by having a device out there that your client can touch and feel and play with, and that you can do a demonstration with them on, is you're going to have more sales from that than you would loss. So super, super important. I'm a big, big believer in having testers for all products and devices in your retail display area. You want to make sure that you have groupings of 3 or 5. So it's not 4, it's 3 or 5. And I don't know why those numbers, but this is something that has been tested and tested and tested. And so it's having a grouping of either 3 or 5 is what's going to move more product. Lighting can be a huge game changer. You can get, depending on your shelving, like so they have those little sticky lights that can go on the shelf above, and that can really up level the presentation and just make the display case look so much more visually appealing. So keep that in mind. And then ensuring that you're doing quarterly walkthroughs, quarterly at a minimum, so that you can really see what your clients see. So I want you to not walk in as the esthetician or the owner, whatever your role is. I want you to walk in as a client, look at your magazines, look at your retail displays. Are they cluttered? Do you have everything jammed together? Does the height of everything look symmetrical? Look at really everything with an aesthetic eye. We're in the aesthetic industry, right? These things need to look beautiful. And just remember that quote from Ghada, you eat with your eyes first. So you want to have that 80-20 rule with your displays. You want to make sure everything's clean, straight, in the proper groupings, just really taking in what that client is experiencing from the time that they walk into your spa. So super important to do that. Super important to take note of what it is that you're seeing and what needs to be updated and changed. Okay, so let's move on to educating your clients on the device benefits. So, education starts with the consult. I know, so my background is in medical, and in medical, every single person tends to get a consult. I very much believe that the consultation process should happen in the entire spa world, unless you are a resort spa, that it's just kind of like that whole experience. But if it's in your goal to treat clients on a consistent basis to help them address their skincare goals, I think it's well worth the 45 minutes that it takes to initially set up, do a consultation, and share with the client, here's your treatment plan. Here's what we need to do to get your skin to where you want it. Here's what we need to do, your maintenance plan. Here's what we need to do to keep your skin there. And then your entire home care regimen. And I actually start with this. So I'll say, step one is using high quality home care products, which you would obviously in this recommendation include the My Skin Buddy. Why do I start there? Because if someone is if they're investing time and money to come and see you to get these treatments, but they're using some junk drugstore brand every day at home, they're going to be like, well, is it really worth it for me to spend this time and money to go and get these treatments done? Because I'm not seeing that much of a change, right? I love the workout analogy that like coming to see us at the spa is like going to a personal trainer, but your home care is your healthy diet. So if you're going to a personal trainer, once a month, well, a personal trainer you would need to go to like 3 times a week. But if you're going to a personal trainer, but you're eating McDonald's or like fast food every day, you're not going to reach your goals, right? So I always just lay that out as the forefront. Like, here's step one. Here's what I want you to do to prep your skin is get on this high quality home care regimen. And then we're going to start doing these treatments, and that's going to make your results even better. And that has worked incredibly well for me because you're setting the expectations from the beginning of like, hey, this is what it's going to take to get your skin to where you want it. Different scenario if you just have someone that is legitimately wanting to relax and zone out. That's more of like a resort spa thing. But I think the majority, especially if you're interested in the My Skin Buddy, it's like the My Skin Buddy helps you get results, right? We've got the anti-aging benefits. We've got the deeper clean, deeper product penetration. There's a lot of great things in that device. So if you're wanting to know how do I sell more devices, I'm assuming that you're wanting to help clients reach their skincare goals. And so really, really consider doing a consultation. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay, but there are other things to do. But I really believe that the consultation is step one to just laying the foundation and setting the expectations. And the next thing is actually use the device in your treatments. So if you're not already, you can use this for cleansing, for toning, for LED benefits. And this makes it like one of the easiest ways to start that conversation. Because it's kind of awkward if you're like, oh, how's your kids? Da da da. And then, oh, I wanted to tell you about this device that we had. But if they're not actually being able to experience the cleansing and experience the benefits and see what it feels like, it's that conversation is just going to kind of, in one ear and out the other. They're not going to pay a lot of attention. But if you're using the device in your treatments, which, side note or like VIP level, you can use the My Skin Buddy, like eye and lip upgrades are some of the biggest things that people are looking for. It's been trending for the past year and a half. And in my mind, it's only going to continue to grow as any type of upgrade or enhancement that you can do for the eye or lip area. If you don't have one, you can create one with the My Skin Buddy that can be, a $15, a $30 upgrade that's going to help with those anti-aging benefits. So make sure that you're maximizing what you're doing in the treatment room with the different modalities that you have. So this is some information that I pulled from Ghada's Dropbox. For anybody that has the My Skin Buddy, you have access to this. But the 6 settings to help with a variety of conditions. So you've got deep cleansing and exfoliation with anti-aging benefits. You've got an acne treatment and prevention with product infusion. You've got calming and brightening with product infusion, skin rejuvenation and anti-aging with product infusion, and then multi-system mode with product infusion or the light-free mode. So this is really like something for everybody. And what's Marguerite saying? And use 2 My Skin Buddies on clients together and treatments. There you go. So what I like about this, and again, like I had mentioned, the 4-in-1 for me is a big benefit. If you're an acne specialist and you're selling just an LED device, then it's like, okay, that's great. But you want to does that help with cleansing? Does it help with, there's so many different things. You don't want someone to have to buy multiple devices. Okay, so sharing the benefits without being salesy. This is something that we're going to kind of get into here. And if you guys have questions about this, we'll for sure dive into this in the Q&A. But there's 4 steps to going through, if you're actually using the device in the treatment room and talking with your patient. So number 1, you want to welcome them and, greet them, hey, so-and-so, and either welcome them back to your spa or welcome them there for the first time. Number 2, you want to ask if there's anything specific going on with their skin that you want them to address. So you want to give them a mirror, hold it up, and say, is there anything going on that you want me specifically to address? I do this every single time, even if it's with an existing client. And the reason that I give them the mirror is to note what they're looking at and the language that they're using. Because if you don't give them a mirror, they'll be like, just, anti-aging. What does anti-aging even mean? So I want to know, to that person, do they feel like, they're having some texture issues or tone issues or redness or congestion? What are they looking at in their skin that they're needing more help with? Then step number 3 is you need to reiterate that the treatment that they're receiving is the correct one to address their needs. And you also want to indicate that you're going to pay special attention to the areas that they mentioned. So, and then use their language, right? So if they're like, I'm just feeling really dull in my, mid face or in my cheek area, then your response would be like, oh, well, whatever. And we'll go through a script, but you're going to say, and we'll do this to address the dullness, and I'll pay special attention to that area. So you want to just make sure that they know that you are hearing what they say and that they're getting the right treatment and that you're going to pay special attention to those areas. And then here's the moneymaker. Ask how they want to receive their service today. So are they wanting to have some quiet time and relax, or would they like you to explain what they're doing step by step? So 2 weeks ago, my husband and I had a staycation at the Ritz. We did a family, just stayed the night there. We did a spa day. We're not doing a baby moon, so we wanted to do that. And we went to the spa, and I was in the waiting area, and I was listening to what these other women were saying. And they said, oh my gosh, I hope my esthetician doesn't talk so much. I really just want to relax, And I was thinking I hope that she asked them what they want, because you will have clients that they want to talk the whole time, and that's fantastic. And you will have clients that just want to zone out, and it might be different. When I was working at Belisante, a spa in Boston, I would always ask my clients this. And I would have regulars that would come in every single month, and sometimes they would want to talk and sometimes they wouldn't. So it's our job to provide them with that experience that they're looking for. So I'm going to go through a script here. So number one, this is kind of greeting them and welcoming back to the spa, right? So, hey, Erin, so great to see you back. How was your vacation, right? You want to just remember like whatever is going on in their personal life, having some point of connection. So number two, right? Number two is ask if there's anything specific going on. So how's your skin feeling today? Are there any specific concerns that you have or any areas you want me to pay special attention to? And we're just going to imagine that Erin answers by saying she's feeling really dry, a bit jet lagged from travel, and thinks her nose looks more congested than normal. So when we travel, right, we know that our skin gets really dehydrated. We're in the plane with that awful air. It's just very normal that your skin can feel that way. And then our script for number three. Well, travel can certainly make you feel more dry and congested, but today we've got you booked for the XYZ facial, which is exactly what your skin needs. I'll be sure to pay close attention to the congestion on your nose, and I'll use the My Skin Buddy to provide some deep cleansing in addition to infusing an HA serum. We'll opt for the hydrating mask also. Does that sound good? Right? So that's giving her like, hey, I understand all of this, da, da, da. This is what we're going to do to solve your problem. And then number four, how do they want to experience their service? I know you said you're feeling a bit jet lagged. How would you like to enjoy your treatment today? Would you like for me to share what I'm doing and throughout the whole process? Or would you like to zone out and relax and I can give you a recap of our treatment and my recommendations at the end? So you're not saying, I'm not going to give you my recommendations, right? It's you can either get my recommendations and analysis step by step throughout the treatment, or I can make them at the end. It's your choice how you want to experience the treatment. So that's really, really important. I think that someone will be, if Erin's jet lagged and wants to totally zone out, you can let her have that experience. And then she's going to be much more open to hearing your recommendations, to hearing what's going on with her skin at the end. And that is also like, if you're talking to her throughout and she really just wants to zone out, in the back of her mind, she's gonna be like, man, I just want to be quiet. I just want to sleep. I want to really just enjoy this treatment and have some me time. And, Daniela is not shutting up. It's like this is going on in her head. So we want her to really have just a super positive experience. And we do that by asking that question. So some of you may struggle with actually explaining the benefits of the My Skin Buddy. So if you do, I want you to use what I call a product sales elevator speech. Now, an elevator speech it's a normal thing in business. The concept is like if you were to get stuck in an elevator with someone that was super influential in your industry, how would you be able to explain or pitch them something in 15 to 30 seconds that it takes to go up the elevator? So I made this like product sales elevator speech a long time ago for my own benefit because I was one of those people that I would just talk too much. I would try and explain. I was basically reiterating what the rep said to me about the products and sharing that with the client. And because I thought the science was super cool, I thought this was super cool. But really, what the client wants to know at the end is, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to help my skin? Why should I buy this specific product? Right? So you could get all into like LED and what LED does and how it's so cool. And, that might be like what we're thinking about. But at the end of the day, your client wants to know 3 questions. What's the product? What's the benefit to them? And why should they purchase it? Okay. So if we did just a quick walkthrough with this, what is the product? It's a handheld device. It's got 4 major technologies. What's the benefit to the client? It's deeper clean, improved product penetration, anti-aging, antibacteria. These are really just brain dumps. You can come up with whatever you're really using these for in your practice. Why should the client purchase it? It offers a lifetime warranty, one device with multiple benefits, as I've mentioned before, so you don't have to have multiple devices. And it's going to maintain and enhance results between regular spa treatments. So if we put that together, this is kind of a longer spiel, and you would obviously want to put this in your own language, but you can say like, the My Skin Buddy is a 4-in-1 device that gives a deep clean and product penetration while providing LED anti-aging benefits that are going to boost the results of treatments that you're receiving here at the spa. And the best thing is that it has a lifetime warranty, so you never have to worry about your device moving into the product graveyard under the sink. That might not be your language, right? I don't know if you want to talk like that to your clients, but for me, like that's a point that so many of my clients were like, oh, I just bought this stuff and then it ends up under my sink forever, and it's like that product graveyard under the sink is something that we want to avoid. We want our clients to be using our products, happy with our products. So the trick to product sales elevator speeches, and you can do these with all of your products too. This is how I normally teach it is creating a product sales elevator speech for your actual skincare products. You want to practice saying this aloud, okay? Because there's a different part of our brain that we use for comprehension than we use for communication. So that's why you can understand everything there is to understand about a certain product or device or whatever. But when it comes to explaining it, you're just like, what just happened? Why did I just sound so like I didn't know what I was talking about? I clearly spent so much time researching on this. It's just a different part of your brain that we're using. It's like a muscle. You have to train it. And what I found is the best way to actually train that muscle is by creating the product sales elevator speech and then repeating that aloud over and over until it becomes natural. So that can help you also on those days if you're seeing, 10 clients in a day. And at the end of the day, you're like, I don't even know if I said this to this person or to this person, like your mind just gets confused. When you have a product sales elevator speech, you don't want to sound like a robot, but you want to make sure that you can articulate a well thought out response of what the thing is that you're talking about and what the benefits are. So super, super helpful with that. All right, so now let's get into showcasing your client's success with the My Skin Buddy. And so we're going to really talk about how you would use this on social media. All right, so here's another little marketing stat for you. So it typically takes between 7 to 11 interactions with a product or service before a client will make a purchasing decision. Now, on social media, so Instagram right now, about 5 to 7% of your followers are organically seeing the posts that you make. So if you are somebody who is worried about, am I posting too much? I don't want to be annoying and post all the time. Only 5 to 7%. That means if you have 100 people following you, maybe 5 to 7 of those people would actually see your post. Okay. So a lot of like at the big marketing conferences, the really big people, they're like, I post 4 times a day, every day. And that's what I do to make sure that, as many people as possible are seeing my post. I don't believe that you need to post 4 times a day, but I believe at minimum, like what should be your goal is 5 days a week in a spa that you should be posting. Facebook is less than 1% organic reach. Instagram will be there in a couple of years. It's Facebook's all pay to play. Instagram's heading in that direction. If you're not on Instagram, if you're not building up your Instagram as of yet, it's definitely something that you should do before we get to Facebook level with it, which it will be there very soon. So what does that mean for you? If you want to get to the point where you're selling 1 to 3 devices per week, you've got to be talking about the My Skin Buddy on your post on a consistent basis in social media. So before we get into that, I know a lot of estheticians will ask me like, what am I supposed to post? When am I going to post it? I never know what to do, right? The easiest thing is to create an editorial calendar. This is going to, again, save you time because it's not going to be like Tuesday afternoon and you're like, oh man, I've got to post something today, but I don't know what to post. So I'm going to scroll through Instagram for an hour until I find something that motivates me, which is a huge waste of time and also doesn't allow you to use social media for what it's for, which if you're using it for business, the whole point is to build the know, like, and trust factor so that you can get more clients coming in to see you, more clients on your books. So if you have an editorial calendar, it's just saying every Monday, I'm going to do a testimonial. Every Tuesday, I'm going to do a case study or a before and after. Every Wednesday, I'll do an educational post or a skincare tip. Every Thursday is a behind the scenes, and every Friday is a promotional post. So what you do is then say, here's where it gets a little more complex. If your promotion for the month is chemical peels, you would pick 4 testimonials that had to do with chemical peels. If there's 4 Tuesdays in the month, you would find 4 case studies or before and after pictures with chemical peels that had to do with chemical peels. If you're doing Wednesday educational posts or skincare tips, you're going to talk about chemical peels in those educational posts and so on. So that's how it's going to all tie in. And what I would like you to do with the My Skin Buddy is look at where, like if you're doing a before and after, maybe you're doing a video of doing a chemical peel and you're cleansing the skin with the My Skin Buddy first. In the copy, you're talking about, hey, this is, I'm preparing the patient or client's skin for a chemical peel. We start off by cleansing with the My Skin Buddy. We then go da 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 da, so you're giving the step by step. So it's not all just like, the My Skin Buddy is awesome. I love it. Here's all these benefits. Da, da, da. It's showcasing in whatever you're doing how you're utilizing this tool so you can be posting about it multiple times while still creating content that's relevant to your audience and whatever your particular promotion for that month is. That's what makes devices so cool, is that you can talk about them on so many different levels without being overtly promotional. So I just wanted to show a couple of images that I found on Instagram. If you search the hashtag MySkinBuddy, which I was like having major Prego's brain. I was like, Ghada, can you find some pictures? And she's like, yeah, you can just search the hashtag MySkinBuddy. So that was like a brilliant mommy brain moment for me. But once I searched that, I was like, oh, there's so many out there. So there's a lot of different, like, this is a really cool, I love the black and white. It looks like modern and classic and just a really cool feel. There were a lot of videos of people actually using the devices. I think it's cool here to see like, oh, I didn't know that you could do the toner and look at the difference. And over here, we've got the different videos. Here's the dual one, right? That Marguerite was talking about, using both of them. But that is going, like, showing these devices in action is going to get a lot more attention. And we know that part of Instagram's algorithm is to have, like, there's so many different, you can do carousel posts, you can do boomerang videos, you can do, just like all the different types of videos and information that you can use both on the regular feed, in your stories, and also in IGTV. If you're someone who's like, I am not ready to be on camera, I am not ready to be in front of the camera, like, do a video of you using the My Skin Buddy. It's going to help improve your algorithm by having those different types of posts, and you don't have to be on camera. So super, super easy way to do that. Now, keys to success with social. I would absolutely recommend doing photo shoots at least once a month. Okay. So you want to get branded images of you performing treatments, of you, in the treatment room. You can offer a client, say, hey, can you come in? I'll offer you either a half price or, maybe you have like your spouse come in or a girlfriend come in that you're going to do a free treatment for in exchange for letting you use the photos. This is social media gold. And this does not have to be expensive. So I have literally had my nanny take photos of me. I've had my husband take photos of me. If you look at the photos on my website, the main photo there on my website, it was actually a selfie that I did with my Google Pixel and set the timer. So don't let any of that be an excuse for getting photos of you, getting photos of you in the treatment room, getting photos of these different devices and products. It can work in such an easy, dynamic way with the way that we have, like the access to technology that we have today. And it makes a world of difference on your social media to not only sell more products, but to also create engagement and increase your followers. And one side tip that I think works really, really well. So we do these bulk photo shoots and then we upload everything into a Google Photos album so that you can have all of your assets in one place. This is especially helpful if you have a team and you have multiple people taking photos. You, as the business owner, want to have all of those assets in one place, right? So, and you want to make sure that you have access to them, that they're not just being posted on other people's social media accounts, so that you can actually go back and reuse them at a later date. But when you have that library of resources of these branded photos that you've taken, then there's no more like scrolling through Instagram trying to figure out what the heck you're going to post. You can make sure that you're following your editorial calendar and then having, all the different really interesting photos with the My Skin Buddy, with your products, with the treatments that you're using, because you really want to position the devices and the products as like, this is a very important piece to help you get the results that you want. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. I'm going to stop sharing my slides here for a minute. Okay, so let's see here. Ghada says, here's the marketing Dropbox. Yeah, all right, perfect. So go ahead and type in who's got questions. Does anybody have anything that they want to bring up? Anything I can go deeper into, whether it's social media, whether it's, the product sales elevator speeches? So I've got a Q&A here. Let me just look at this. Okay. What did you mean by groupings of 3 or 5? Okay. So if you have the My Skin Buddy displayed, you want to have either 3 units or 5 units out there. So that goes for your products as well. You want to have either, like if you have a cleanser, you want to have 3 cleansers deep or 5 cleansers deep. That's what I meant. So like how many actual units you're having. Marguerite was saying, please repeat what you said about Instagram soon going the way of Facebook. So Instagram's owned by Facebook, and Facebook is currently pay to play, right? So if you want, Facebook is an absolutely amazing advertising tool that you can use to get in front of a targeted audience, but you have to pay to play, right? You have to do Facebook advertising because less than 1% of people who like your page will actually see your post organically. There's ways to get around that. So there's definitely, there's like, Facebook is really favoring Facebook Live and video content. They want to really be kind of they want 80% of their feed to be video in the next 5 years. So you're going to get a little more organic reach if you'll do Facebook Lives and things like that. what I was saying about Instagram going the way of Facebook is that ultimately the reach on Instagram is going to go down and down and down. So if you want to get in front of more people, you need to make sure that you are actually creating that engaged audience now, while you still have the 5 to 7% of organic reach. So that's that. I'm going to look, I've got questions coming in the Q&A and the chat. So I'm going to look at both of these here. Let's see. Oh, Misty was on. Okay. I've been thinking about ordering these for a while. I have lots of clients that come in for LED. Thanks for the info. Okay. Love Misty. Esther says, I still need help with the elevator speech. I love the idea of displaying the video in the lobby. Perfect. So Esther, what I would recommend with doing the elevator speech is just brain dumping take those 3 questions, right? So you're going to take, what's the product? What's the benefit to the client, and why should they purchase it? And just brain dump a ton of information of all the benefits. Look at like, how can you put these different things together in a sentence that feels good to you? And I don't know if you're in the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group, but if you want to post your elevator speech in there and then just tag me, I'm happy to give you feedback on what I would change. But it's really just kind of putting those things together. How can you communicate the information in the shortest way possible? But it's got to feel good to you. And also, Ghada's going to put this training in her Dropbox for everybody that has the My Skin Buddy. And we're going to put the slides in there as well. So you guys can, have the actual text that we put in there. But I'm more than happy to help you kind of work through your product sales elevator speech if you have any questions about that. All right. So Samantha's saying, do you recommend the Planoly app or others like it to schedule social media content? Yes, ma'am, I sure do. So we actually use something called Sked. I've gone through, so for us, we do a month of content. It takes us 2 hours to create. And what we focus on is actually creating all of our content up front at the beginning of the month. So I'm a planner, right? So I actually will do our annual planning for the entire year. And when I work with spas, it's like, all right, we're going to map out what your yearly focus is, what your quarterly primary focuses are, and then break that down by month. And we're also going to figure out your promotion for every single month if you offer a promotion or if you're doing membership or whatever. But I like to be proactive in business decisions rather than reactive. And so for me, when we're creating these plans, then we know ahead of time what we're going to do. So if you're doing a chemical peel, if you're doing whatever, and then you want to do that next January, right? Or next February or whenever, you can pull from that old content and just repurpose it a little bit. So, but to get to the point of scheduling, yes, we create and schedule everything. We use everything in Google Drive and save all of our images. We use a Google Drive spreadsheet for all of our copy. And then we schedule everything out. So then when I spend time on social media, I'm only responding to comments or engaging rather than actually coming up with things that I'm trying to say. So I hope that helps. There's a lot of free schedulers out there, and there's also some paid ones. But again, the one that we are using is called Sked, and I think it's $25 a month. Cecilia says, hi, Cecilia. Is it safe for pregnant women? Nothing is safe for pregnant women. Personally, I don't think there's an issue. But because they don't do testing, so they'll say LED is the issue. So because they don't do testing on pregnant or nursing women, they'll advise you not to use it. And so it's always better. Like, I wouldn't use it on a pregnant or nursing woman. Nursing's a little more lax, but I wouldn't use it on a pregnant woman just because there has been no testing and it's just not worth the risk. But honestly, like, it also says, don't use on kids under 12. And like my daughter, who's almost 3, it's like her favorite thing to play with. And I have zero problem with her playing with it. So it's just in like, I wouldn't use it in your practice, but I personally don't feel that there's an issue with it. Okay, so let's see. Let me go back and look at these questions. Sylvia says, can I have 3 cleansers, but not all the same? Gel, lotion, foam from one company. I deal with drop ships and clients get the benefits to buy online, reception, place storage for them. So that goes against the studies that these big skincare companies have done. But you have to do what's best for your business, right? So if it doesn't make sense for you to have those, I just think there's a lot of people who want that instant gratification. And if you don't get them when they're right in that moment, then you may not get them. It's not always the case, like for repurchasing, not a big deal at all. But I think if you're really focusing on attracting new clients to your practice, and if you're doing consultations, you're much likely, you have a higher close rate if you have the products there that they can purchase right away rather than drop shipping them. So I guess it really depends on your practice. For repurchasing, for selling online, 100% drop ship is awesome. And also, if you're in a position where you don't have the cash flow, drop ship is a phenomenal option. I just think that you will lose out on some sales if you don't actually have the ability to make the sale in that moment. Esther says, I want to create a PowerPoint presentation with the video to play during the consultations. That's great. I think that's great. So what we do, I work at Potomac Medical Aesthetics as a patient care coordinator once a week, just to kind of keep my hands in things. And for our consultation process, like when we're doing cool sculpting, we had the doctor actually create it's a YouTube video, but he creates a YouTube video that we play for them before they walk in. And so I go in there and do the consultation with them. And so they'll watch that video. It gives them a lot of information. Then I come in and I'll talk to them about all the different things that we do in the practice. But we use a book. So we had like a book printed from like Shutterfly or something like that shows the different before and after pictures that they can look at and kind of talk about there. But you can do a PowerPoint presentation as well. It really just kind of depends on what makes sense for your clients. Okay, so Jessica says, is there a minimum order? Okay, I'm going to let Ghada answer that. Perfect. So drop ship. I wish I could come up with everything and schedule in 2 hours. You can, my friend. You can. Just takes practice. Okay. Cool. So does anybody have any other? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Marguerite says, can you spell the program you're sharing? Yeah, I'll type it in here. It's called SKED. I think it's Sked Social. Is what we actually use. There's Later. There's Buffer. Whoops, I think Buffer has an EU. BUFFER. There's Social Bee. There's a lot of different ones. And you just have to play around with like Sked we like because Sked allows you to schedule stories on Instagram. So for our podcast, we do a story every Monday and we can schedule that out ahead of time. So that is really great. Okay, so Ashley's saying, would you use those pre-scheduled apps rather than doing the scheduled post on Facebook directly? Do you think those apps affect the algorithm? So that's a great question, Ashley. The reason that we use the app instead of scheduling directly on Facebook is because we're scheduling on multiple platforms. So we're scheduling on Facebook and on Instagram, and Sked will allow you, and we're also scheduling on LinkedIn. And honestly, I don't know if it schedules LinkedIn or not because my my team is scheduling that for me at this point. But that's the reason that we do it directly that way. If you're only focusing on Facebook, then I think that there's nothing wrong with using that as a scheduler. Like the more you can use what Facebook offers you, like I think that's going to be the easiest because you're kind of taking the middleman out and it's totally free. But because we're using multiple platforms, we actually use it for those purposes. Okay. Jennifer says, is there a poster I can put behind the display of 3 or 5 to make it stand out? Yes. Okay, perfect. So Ghada's got that one. What else, you guys? What else can I help you with? Social media, devices. I hope that this has been really helpful information for you guys. All right. So if there's no other questions, then we can go ahead and sign off. But if there's anything else, you always can go to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. Oh, Ghada has a question. Ghada, why don't you unmute yourself?
Hey, I can't even get my video back. No, my question was, why does my face look more pregnant than yours?
Because I have gained almost, what am I up to? I think I'm up to 32 pounds at this point, and it's all in my belly. I look like I have a watermelon under my shirt, and it's completely insane. I make big babies. They think he's going to be 8.5 pounds. So Lord help me when he comes out.
Well, you look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, well, you were awesome. You guys, she was freaking awesome. Like I don't know what else to add, except like the elevator pitch. This is what I would suggest.
Oh, yeah.
I always suggest, my elevator pitch took me like 3 years to perfect because I always want to pay attention to what keeps their attention. You were saying you talk too much sometimes and you want to get it into that quick 15, 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So just pay attention to what's working, like what's catching their attention. So for me at the trade shows or to consumers, I always say it's a one-stop shop. It's an all-in-one device. It does cleansing, product penetration, LED all at once. Okay. So that's the quick 10.
Yeah, that's I think people are always looking to save time or money, right? Yeah. Those are the two things. Like if you can solve a problem where you're saving time or money, then it's going to be a win, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we are in the business of solving problems. And the point that Ghada was just bringing up is, hey, it's 4 in 1, right? It's going to save you time and it's going to save you money, because you're going to have better results, because it's always easier to prevent than it is to correct, right? So it's kind of a win-win when you're using a device like this. And the other thing that just came to mind for me is that you have to believe in this device. You have to believe in anything that you're selling in order to sell it. Mm-hmm. So I never want you to just be like, oh, this could make me, $6,800 in profit this year, so I'm going to sell it. No, yes, that's an awesome benefit, but you really need to use the device yourself. You need to see the changes that it can make in people's skin and in your own skin. And when you have that personal story and when you have that, oh my gosh, I love this device. Here's what it did for me, or here's what it did for this client, or here's how I'm using it here. That provides such a deeper connection than, hey, this is just another cool thing that I want you to buy, So that's a big piece there.
Yeah. And I also love when you said that, what did you say? 80% of the people that leave the spa purchase in the next 24 hours from somewhere else. Yeah. And that's something I created with the business too. I wanted to make it easy for you, like with return on investment is high. I mean, you're making your money back in one facial or one sale. But I've had so many clients lose so many sales because they didn't have one on the shelf, so it's all, and I always say, hey, look, just buy an extra one, put it on the shelf. You don't sell it, we'll buy it back. And that's never happened. So we stand
I just
behind
made
that.
you the host, by the way. So if you want to put, I think maybe you can put your video on. So everyone can see your pretty face. There you are. Yeah, that's a great thing too, Ghada, is like having that, like something that I have been really successful with in skincare. When I'm selling skincare, home care regimen in a consult, it's typically $600 to $1,000 because I sell everything at once. And one of the things that we do, so in the medical world, we use something called a Vizia. It's like a skin analysis machine. In the day spa world, there's other devices, there's wood lamps, there's cameras that you can use to take photos. But I will say, like, take these products, use them for 6 weeks, come back, we'll take your photos. If we don't see noticeable change in your skin from those products, we'll take everything back. And I have never once had anyone return those products.
Awesome.
And so it's just standing behind like what you believe in and saying like, I know that these are going to give you results so much that I'm willing to take all of these products back, because you've got to believe that much in what you're making as a recommendation to the individual.
Right. So question about, you said everything should be eye level. What are there any spas that just have an eye level shelf all around the spa? Would that work?
No, no, it's distracting. It doesn't work. Yeah, but it's let's see. I've got a couple of questions coming in here. So, is it okay for estheticians to use wood lamps? Yes, to my knowledge, there's nothing wrong with using a wood lamp. Let's see. Wow, when are you both due? No, I'm due. I'm super pregnant.
See?
Ghada's not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant.
I'm due next month. So yeah, I'm a very full 8 months pregnant right now. And then Marguerite says, does the lifetime guarantee mean it's built to last forever? And when is a buddy ready for the graveyard under the sink? Or when should it be recycled? I'll let Ghada answer that one.
Wait, I'm sorry, you froze. Can you ask that question again?
Yes. So Marguerite's saying, does the lifetime guarantee mean it's built to last forever? And when is a buddy ready for the graveyard and where should it be recycled?
Okay, so it has a 5-year, I guess, span, but we do a lifetime warranty, so forever. There's no fine print. So things are going to happen. I mean, the battery, or if you get water damage, we just replace it for free. Now, if you have somebody in like 10 years that wants a replacement, we'll figure it out. I'm hoping that we have a better skin buddy in 10 years, if that makes any sense. But no, I mean, it does everything. It's really hard to say when it's going to be outdated. Like, it's awesome. You got to use it every day.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that, so Ghada and I actually met for the first time at a NASM Pro event in Boston. And one of my students, one of my friends had said, you've got to meet Ghada. And I was like, okay. And what I loved about her from the beginning is that you could tell that she was very focused on customer service. And like every decision that she makes is around, will this benefit the esthetician? And for me, I resonated with that because when I was working as a spa manager and a spa director, like I would always ask myself 3 questions. I would say, is this beneficial to the practice? Is this beneficial to the patient? And is it beneficial to the esthetician? And if it wasn't a yes on all 3 of those, then it was a no. So I want to make sure that every decision we were making, because a lot of times the esthetician gets left out of the mix, right? And I feel like estheticians are the driving force behind the success, right? And so for me, it was so nice to see someone who was so dedicated to how can we make it as easy as possible? How can we not have fine print? How can we like really come at this from a heart space that's focused? Yeah, we want to make money. Yeah, we want to create an awesome product, but it's really about also helping the estheticians build their business as well. And so for me, that's why I was like, okay, whatever I can do to help this woman, like I'm, going to do. Lisa says, just curious, why would you would put your bestsellers at eye level? Wouldn't you want to move and place the products that aren't moving as well there? Yeah, so it can seem counterintuitive, but you really want to ride your winners. And so eye level is the first place they're going to go. And so when you have something that's already moving really well and you put it there, the increase in those will be greater than the increase in a product that's not moving very well. And most likely it has to do with the fact that your products need to be aligned with the treatments that you're offering. So if you're offering, if you're a wax specialist and you have a bunch of anti-aging skincare, you don't want that at eye level. You want dry brushes, you want tweezers, you want body scrubs, you want lotions, because what's in their mind for coming to be waxed is that's what their treatment space is, right? So you have to first make sure that what I'm retailing matches what I'm providing as services. And then you want that in your buy level. I get that it can seem counterintuitive, but just trust me when I say that after 13 years and a lot of testing, eye level is buy level. And that's what you want to do. Okay, so Cecilia says, I bought my first Skin Buddy 3 years ago. I used the one for display and upgraded to the one for the treatment room. Awesome. Let's see. I'd like to mention that my Skin Buddy is an excellent companion to other treatments on the display, paired with fascia release as well as precursor to other treatments such as microcurrent, microneedling. Yeah, it's all about customizing what makes sense for your client, right? So who are you attracting in your business? If you're acne, if you're an acne specialist, if you're an anti-aging specialist, even if you're a lash artist, how can you do a eye treatment, right? Think about these different ways that you can go deep with your clients. And for me, I've worked with so many different skincare companies. And the thing is, there's no one skincare company that gets it all right. There's a lot of skincare companies that have a lot of really awesome products, but there's never one that has the full line of every product is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So when you can partner and say, all right, my Skin Buddy works with this, works with that, works with that, you don't want it to just be hey, this is the only thing that it works with. Okay. I love my Skin Buddy. I just opened, so by saying lifetime, there's no going wrong. Very good. See, it makes you feel good in any business decision, right? Because you need to be thinking about ROI as well. So that's every decision, whether it's social media, whatever it is, ROI is a very important piece of the puzzle if you want to grow into a successful practice.
Can I add a tip too? I know a lot of my clients already do this, but a lot of people will say, how much should I charge extra if I use the Skin Buddy? And I always say, don't charge extra. Just use it in every single facial because you got to cleanse anyway, right? So it's like a mini massage on their face. Even if you do it for 2 minutes, everyone's going to ask you what's on my skin. So that's your opportunity to talk about it. And that's another opportunity to sell Skin Buddy for home use. So
I would say that if you're going to do an eye or lip upgrade, I would charge for that.
Okay.
But that's so we can also agree to disagree, but you have to know what's best for your practice. I agree with Ghada 100% in the cleansing and the basic use. But if you're going to create a specific upgrade, like an eye or lip upgrade, I would absolutely charge for that.
And if you're doing a nano infusion on the lip and then you add the Skin Buddy, that's an awesome upgrade. It doesn't take that long.
And for me, any upgrade that doesn't have a cost of treatment, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have any other questions? All right. So, Ghada, I'm just going to reclaim myself as the host. And then I want to thank you guys all so much for your time. It really, as I've said many times, that time is your most valuable resource. So I'm very, very grateful that you've spent your day with us here learning. If there's any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I know Ghada and myself are both super happy to help, and I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And I wish you all of the best.